Hello and welcome to the 18th Iguanzilla figure review. Today, I have Studio Series 86 Transformers the Movie MIXMASTER. Right now, I have MIXMASTER already in his vehicle form where he becomes a cement truck. So, here's a better look at it. I think that this figure honestly captures the look of MIXMASTER's transform state in the original G1 series pretty well. I mean, like, it's a generic cement truck, and really, aside from the original toys, none of the Transformers in the G1 series really looked like a specific vehicle. It was always kind of like a, I guess, generic one. And yeah, I think that this captures the look pretty well. You know, it's got the light green and purple coloring, which all the Constructicons have in the original series. So yeah, I guess I'll transform him and get started on the robot mode. So, like I said, here is MIXMASTER in his robot mode, and I think that he looks, again, pretty alright for, you know, what he's supposed to be, which is G1 MIXMASTER, which, I mean, doesn't really have the most interesting look out of any of the Constructicons. I personally think that Scrapper has the most interesting appearance. But, aside from that, as you can see, a full turnaround, or you can still see the cement truck parts. And everything. So yeah, like I said, I think that MIXMASTER looks pretty generic, so there's not really much I have to say on his design. I feel like if I do say anything, it's just gonna leak into articulation. So, because of that, I think that's a better time than any to get into the articulation. Starting off, MIXMASTER can turn his head a full 360, although because of this section right here, it's kind of hard to get your fingers in there to even turn his head, but it at least doesn't impede his articulation. It really just matters on how far you can get your fingers into like this gap. From there, he can move his shoulders a full 360 and even turn them upwards a little. Going like this. This is about as far as he can turn his shoulders. Then you can even have it like this, though that has to do with transformation. Then you just drop him down like that. And from here, he has a bicep swivel because of this peg that you can see right here that just slots right into the arm. And then he even has elbow crunch. He has no wrist articulation because the wrist is just molded right into the forearm. So yeah, no wrist articulation at all, which is disappointing. Furthermore, he cannot turn his waist. Look, I'm putting my everything into this. That waist cannot turn, nor can it crunch. But what it can do is turn like this, which has to do with, I guess, transformation. Well, not transformation, but just vehicle gimmick, since it's only to one side. When he's in his vehicle form, the cement part, I guess, can just like turn, which, yeah, cement trucks can do that, but like, it's really weird how you couldn't also add in, like, I feel like it would be possible to add in a hinge or a bit of a swivel right here. Let me actually figure right here with a weight swivel. So, pulling on my RX-78 Gundam, I feel like, you see, you could just add in a bit of a plug right here. Let me just see. I feel like you could have added something like this in there still, so that, you know, you could have it like this, and then like the figure can still swivel, is what I'm saying. You can have that cake and eat it too. Okay? Like this, I believe, has enough room for like an extra pole, for like there to be a pole in here, and then this whole top part, including this gear that turns, just placed right on top of it, and then MIXMASTER could swivel. But hey, whatever, I'm not the one who came up with this, and I'm definitely not HASBRO. We probably added in budget cuts. Anyways, from here, MIXMASTER can swivel his thighs back and forth, about this far back and this far forwards. And then, you know, MIXMASTER can also bend his knee and about this far in. And then because of this, another plug right here, can twist it. Get the arm out of the way, sorry. And twist it this much. And then for feet, he has articulation in the ankles, which can turn like that, and then nothing else. He can't really turn it. And then the knee, for mostly for transformation, but the knee can go the other way. It can go this far back and then this far forwards, which is interesting, but you know, these figures transform, so it has to do with that. And that's really all of the articulation on MIXMASTER. There's not really anything else here. It's a pretty basic figure when you think about it. Which honestly is what I think about a lot of Transformers figures nowadays. Cause like, a lot of them, they're pretty basic when it comes to articulation. And that is going to go into my criticisms in a moment. For accessories, MIXMASTER comes with a single gun. Just one blaster. That's it. That's all you can really do. I don't really know what else you could really have him also have. I guess you could have the trumpets that the Constructicons have in that one scene in Starscream's coronation. I guess that's another accessory you could have. But yeah, he really only has one tiny rinky-dink gun. And that's it. That's all MIXMASTER gets. Before I move on, I'd like to also show the transformed foot mode, since MIXMASTER is a part of a combiner, that being Devastator. So this is largely what the foot mode is supposed to look like from what I gather. I'm not done. I haven't completed all of Devastator, so I don't really have the instructions to make the accurate foot mode. I'm just going off of MIXMASTER itself. So anyways, this is how it looks in the leg mode from what I could gather, and then, you know, like this gimmick that I showed before is used actually for the leg mode, not the vehicle mode. That's my bad. And, you know, so that the leg can kind of turn and stuff, I guess. I'm not really all that impressed. I think that's kind of weird to have a whole back section. Maybe I did something wrong. I'm gonna leave that up to me doing something wrong with this whole back section. But if this is accurate, I don't know, it just doesn't feel that stable. Especially compared to Scrapper, who's another leg module, so, you know. Anyways, yeah, this is basically it. There's not much to say. So, with all of this in mind, what are some criticisms I have for Studio Series 86 MIXMASTER? Well, the head is such a pain to move around. You have to get in between this, like, section right here, because this isn't movable, and then, if you're not careful, you know, the shoulders pierce your fingers, and then and then the head itself is just really hard to grip, and really annoying to grip, because you have to put some real pressure on it to move it, and then it just creates a really annoying experience. Then, these hands cannot move one bit. They are molded into the plastic, and might I say, they're very ugly. They're very grossly molded into the plastic, just being this, like, green, with, like, there's not even, like, a hole there, and that's what I really hate about some Transformers figures, how there's no, like, movable hands. They're just molded into the wrist, which is so annoying to deal with, and it limits so much. And then, like I said before, no waist articulation. You can't turn it at all. You can't move it forward. There's just nothing. And then these arms are annoying because you can't really get it into a good looking side pose, or like he's firing his gun. It's always like weirdly positioned. Like, look at this. This doesn't look exactly right. It doesn't look right for like a action setting. And then you move it up further. Oh, now you can't even see it. And then this joint's going. Look, now I can't even see what he's looking at. Why are the arms like this? And then, you know, there's no foot movement, which I guess I could like. No, I can't even say it's like because of the transformation. I feel like there would be a way to put like a peg in here and you could move it. I feel like there's ways that this figure could be better when it comes to articulation that isn't hindered by the articulation or the gimmick. And then there's the design. MIXMASTER is so generic looking in G1, and G1 is already so like oversaturated in current Transformers. They need to let go of it and they need to evolve so that we can have better and more original designs. Like this MIXMASTER design is not good. Hell, I'd say most of the, no, that's not even a hot take. Most of the Constructicon designs aren't good. They're very ugly and weird to look at. And the only thing that's really like memorable or remarkable about them is that they combine into Devastator, who honestly, not my favorite looking. I think Bruticus looks like a much better combiner than Devastator, but whatever, I'm not going into that. And I feel like if we got new designs and we could get a better looking MIXMASTER, but because Hasbro is so reliant on G1, we're left with this, and it's annoying. Lastly, and this relates to the head, MIXMASTER is just annoying to move. He's so blocky and weird. Look at his arms. These aren't fun to move. They're so like ununiform. And then these legs, these lower legs are massive and they're just so awkward to move with the rest of the body, and it doesn't feel right. This figure doesn't feel right. That's what I don't like about it. And I feel like all these things could have been improved if Hasbro, 1, like I said, let go of G1, 2, gave their modelers and sculptors and overall toy designers better budgets to work with, and 3, just overall wasn't the company that they are. They're kind of really, really annoying and bad company. I really don't like Hasbro. And like these traits should not be on a $34 figure. This figure usually goes for more than $30. $30. And I'm getting this. A freaking high grade Gundam. This Gundam that I got for less than $20 has more articulation. It feels better. It looks better. It's just overall better than this guy. There's no point in getting MIXMASTER other than wanting a Devastator. That's it. That's even the reason why I got this dude, because I want a Devastator. But now, because of how I see modern Transformers going, I'm not interested in the series. I'm not interested in these figures. I think that these figures have just gone completely downhill. They're more expensive. They're less good looking. They're just overall an annoying, weird investment that I don't care about anymore. So like, if Hasbro doesn't improve this, if the Transformers brand doesn't get better and it just continues like this, I don't see myself ever picking up a new figure. I think maybe the only one I'll get is just Devastation Bumblebee, but that's it. Only because that figure is the best looking version of like a G1B that I want. I know I was talking about like G1 oversaturation, but I think that Bumblebee is one of the exceptions when it comes to like G1, because it changes things I don't like about G1 Bumblebee. Anyways, in my whole opinion, in conclusion, should you get MIXMASTER? No, because I really, really rate him as just like, like a 3 out of 10 is what I'm really gonna say. Maybe that's too low, but it's just, it's just not really what I was hoping, I guess. I know I said I only got him for Devastator, but I still expected something better. And this just does not feel like a good figure. If you want Studio Series 86 Devastator, I guess, then like get these figures, but I feel like it'd be more worthwhile to just immediately turn them into Devastator rather than get them individually and mess around with them individually. I think that the only worth to this guy is just the fact that he's tied to Devastator. There's nothing else. So yeah, that's my review of MIXMASTER. It is to not buy Transformers. I'm sorry if you're a Transformers fan. I am one too. It's just that these figures have gone so downhill that like I feel like it's better if you get the blockies or Takara figures, or screw it, you know, you become a Gundam fan. Look at this. Look, wow, so cool, so cool. Actual waist articulation, ab crunch. Look at this shoulder. Wow, look at that. Look at the bicep. Look, wow, wrist articulation, actual wrist articulation. Look, you can move the feet back and forth. Whoa, you can actually like tilt the figures ankles. Okay, maybe MIXMASTER has the ankle thing beat, but like everything else, wow. And then look, actual accessories. Look at this. Whoa. That's crazy. Wait, you don't like this hand? Oh, look at that. You can swap it out for a different one. What? That's insane. Whoa, that's crazy. And then if you like customization and stuff, you can make this thing. Whoa, that's so cool. Wowee. I'm losing track of what I'm doing. So yeah, MIXMASTER, Studio Series, Transformers. Hasbro is an AI company now, I guess. This is Iguanzilla. I think this might be the most pessimistic I've been in a video. If I review another Transformers figure, this will happen again. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that. See you later.